Hello everybody, welcome back to my Dark Souls playthrough. We're here today filming part 8. Kind of like last time, I don't know exactly what we're going to get accomplished because there's a lot we have to do with the story, actually, and I don't want to get started with Sun's Fortress because that's kind of a bigger level. We might just explore what we can of Blighttown, and then after that, head up to Firelink Shrine and do some of the lore stuff. In fact, that's actually probably what we're going to do, so... First things first, clear out these enemies. Clear out some of these enemies to make the going a little bit easier. These mosquitoes, not too dangerous, just a little bit annoying. But from the left of the bonfire, we'll head over here and pick up this thing. Soul, a Proud Knight. We're going to need a lot of souls because today I think I'm going to be leveling up the Zwei after we're finished with this part, which is definitely going to be off camera because I mean there's really no reason to film it. It's just going to be me talking to Andre basically. Man, fuck these mosquitoes. They're so annoying. Alright. Where are we going first? If you head across the swamp this way, I think this is where you can find the Pyromancer's set. And as you'll see, this lower part of Blighttown is pretty big. The swamp is also a hard area to navigate without the Rusted Iron Ring because of how slowly you move through water. Another large soul of a Proud Knight over here. And before we go over here and fight that leech, I think this is where you get the Pyromancer set. Yep. So the Pyromancer set, or the Tattered Cloth set, and the Poison Mist Pyromancy. That's a cool. Poison Mist is one of the more interesting, or not more interesting rather, but more useful pyromancies. Because it allows you to inflict poison, obviously, and for some parts of the game, it allows you to, I guess, bypass certain story areas. And in particular, I'm talking about the Lost Islets shortcut. Normally, how I mentioned last video, you'd have to give 30 humanity to the fair lady, and then she'd open up that shortcut for you. But that's to save Solaris so that we can go through and then kill a sunlight maggot that does not respawn before he can find it and go hollow. But you can actually do this earlier without having to open the shortcut by having Poison Mist or Acid Surge or something that can make it through the door and inflict a status effect on the sunlight maggot. And you cast it standing right up next to the door. It'll kill it. You'll get the souls. The item it drops will actually stay on the ground until you manage to make it back to Lost Islets later, so you don't have to worry about that, and you don't have to pay the 30 humanity to open up the shortcut. Man. Alright. I think that should just about do it for the mosquitoes. We've killed like a dozen of them. There actually aren't that many, but it feels like there's a lot because of how many different spawn points that there are, and how hard they are to take down. These leeches can drop a variety of different items, but they're most useful for the upgrade stones. They can drop large Titanite shards and green Titanite shards. So we're going to be needing both of those, actually. Because, as I said, green Titanite is for divine weapons, and the large Titanite is so you can actually send this thing up to plus 10. I think large Titanite is the only thing you need for plus 10 ascension. Maybe we're gonna need a couple chunks too, which would be unfortunate because we don't really have that. Not getting too lucky on the drops. Not a big deal. These leeches are easy to take out. They have a couple attacks. They'll usually use that jumping attack, and the one where they kind of sit back on their tail and then spew that goo at you. One roll backwards is generally enough to get by that attack. I don't know if they use it more than once in a row either. I actually haven't Haven't tried to see, but it doesn't look like they do. Oops, missed. I hate ricocheting off those walls. Yeah, so 5 green titanite shards. That's pretty great. It speeds up farming a lot because they drop them in large quantities. Well, I don't want to die to these things. Sometimes rolling through that swamp can be faster than like walking. So. Alright. There are a lot of these guys over here, which makes this one of the best upgrade farming routes in the game, if not the best, just because of what they drop and how fast they can drop them, especially when you have more loose humanity and the gold serpent ring from Sun's Fortress. If you didn't know, having more loose humanity, that number next to your name, it means that you have more item discovery as well. And it does stack with other item discovery items, such as the gold serpent ring. So it can be pretty useful if you're looking to farm for like upgrade materials for a weapon that you find late game that you want to use, or things like that. So we have a shitload of green titanite now, which is very nice because we're getting to all of it. I think green titanite is also used to imbue occult weapons, which is the increased or the branch upgrade off of divine, kind of like how enchanted is the branch upgrade off of magic. And we picked up a weapon. This is actually, I think, the weapon that I was getting the butcher's knife confused with, the server. 107 physical damage, C scaling with dexterity, and it is one of the curved greatswords. Takes 24 strength, 13 dexterity to wield, 10 pounds. Not a bad weapon. A curved greatsword used in a mysterious ancient rite, imbued with a frightful occult energy which restores HP with each hit. So that is the effect that stacks with the ring of the evil eye. And that can turn the evil eye's health restoration effect into actually not a bad effect. But on its own, not that great. Not a bad moveset. All the curved greatsword movesets are pretty good. Or curved sword movesets. Scaling is okay. I actually forget what it upgrades with. It might be just regular titanite, in which case it'd be a lot better. But if it's twinkling titanite, that's kind of unfortunate. Twinkling titanite's rare, and there are better weapons that you can use to upgrade it with. Over here, this route that you can climb up on leads to a little hollow with a body that has the plank shield, which is kind of the joke shield for this game. We'll examine that. Makeshift shield built from wood planks. Provides minimum protection, but at a cost of moderate humiliation. So, actually not bad physical block, 75%, but stability at 45. 55 lightning defense because it's a wooden shield. It barely weighs anything. It weighs as much as the buckler and target shield, but because it has basically the same stability as these, there's no real reason to use it other than some sort of aesthetic purpose. If you'll attack this wall, it's illusory, and it'll come up to this chest. You might wonder why that message is there if we just hit that illusory wall, and that's because there's a second illusory wall behind this. That is one of the more tricky pieces of level design that FromSoft used, and it's kind of weird that they used it. I know the YouTuber EMB feels the same way because the Great Hollow and Ash Lake are pretty big areas, and it looks like they use a lot of resources to make them. So it's kind of interesting that they would lock off these whole areas, you know, basically hoping on the off chance that somebody would find out and then leave one of those messages online and then kind of spread it like that. I really like how they did that, though. Just another one of those things that encourages people talking about the game. Fuck, how do I get here? Oh, yeah. It's one of the things that encourages people talking about the game, you know, on like forums and stuff, and it spreads interest. That's one of those cool Easter eggs if you're one of the first people that figure it out. Where is the Chloranthy Ring? Is this not the right place? Oh, man. I think I forgot. I think I have to actually drop down to it. That's unfortunate. So we're here today in the Great Hollow not because we want to explore this area fully just yet, but we want to get the Chloranthy Ring, which is one of the stamina recovery items. I just want to have a replacement for the Ring of the Evil Eye, basically. So yeah, it's down there. Fuck, I don't know if this fall kills me, though. Oh, well, that was a little unfortunate. Yeah. The Great Hollow, one of the platforming segments. So, not one of the better areas in the game, in my opinion. I mean, the design is pretty cool, but, platforming fucking blows the Souls games. And you might hear me say that a lot. You'll see we also didn't rest at that bonfire because I really wasn't expecting to die over there. So, it lets us homeward going back to this Blighttown bonfire instead of having to walk all the way back. Or fully explore the area like we would have to do otherwise. Really hope that I don't get one shot at these guys. I forget how far the crag spiders follow you too. Alright, got him. Our armor means that these guys, they aren't too big of a problem. If you get swarmed just like any other enemy, it can be dangerous, but their attack patterns aren't that great, and I don't think that they use that lunging attack too much. So you really only have to worry about dodging it the first time if they're at max range, and then after that, that goop attack is pretty easy to dodge. Alright, back at it again in the Great Hollow. First I gotta retrieve the souls though. We had a lot because we haven't actually used them since fighting Quolag. And we have that piece of loose humanity. Alright. I might actually just be able to roll off here and then not die, so let's see. Yeah, cool. Hit that, get the Chloranthy Ring, which we will examine right now, and then equip. This ancient ring, engraved with a large green flower, is of unknown origin. Hastens the regeneration of stamina. Yeah, so we put that on. Has the same effect as the Grass Crest Shield, and I believe it stacks, so there's no real reason not to use it until we have a better ring. We're gonna homeward bone back to the Blighttown bonfire. We will rest at that Great Hollow bonfire once we have the Lord vessel, so that we can just warp. But for now, not gonna do that. What else can we do here? Let's go get this item over here. I think it's another soul, but all the souls help, so yeah, large soul of a Proud Knight. We'll kill this crag spider, and then we'll go and look for the Firekeeper soul. I got basically everything in note over here. I think there might be one more item that this guy is guarding. Or is it on the other side? I don't know. Whatever, man. Not important. Oh, shoot. Did I forget to turn off? Camera auto wall recovery. I did forget to turn that off. That's probably, that's something that you might want to turn off. Because for certain boss fights, like the Capra Demons, and other cramped area boss fights or in cramped zones, it can kind of mess with your camera. So it won't keep it in the same location, so if it encounters a wall, it will like snap you forward, snap your camera forward, which is definitely not something you want to have happen because it kind of jacks with the controls and it can end up leading you to your death. If you are moving in one way, it changes your orientation and then you start running off a ledge or something. So yeah, these the mosquitoes, they follow you a fair distance up this level. And here's a blow dart sniper. They inflict toxic, but if you go through this level the normal way, they They can't hit you like this, or if you go through this shortcut the normal way. Get owned. We're gonna equip a couple things here to help us with these guys. One is the dung pie that I mentioned last video, and then I'm also gonna do alluring skulls because holy shit, I almost rolled off the edge. Okay, but the other is alluring skulls because they're going to let us aggro the dogs that we're gonna see later. So I'll let him hit me once, and that'll build up toxic on us. And then I'm going to throw 2 dung pies, and that inflicts the item version of toxic, which is about half as effective as the blow dart ones. And then after that, these guys don't do anything to us, other than stagger. But they're pushovers. What else we got over here? More blow dart snipers. Don't want to get knocked off the ledge. That would be unfortunate. Two purple moss clumps. I think these guys drop blooming purple moss clumps as well. Do I have a ranged weapon that I can nail these guys with? I think I have that crossbow. All right, we might as well use it. It's not like we're gonna get much more use out of it. Yeah, but we don't want to get knocked off the ledge here because they're dogs. Oh man, that guy got knocked off. Getting staggered at the wrong time is not going to be great. How are these guys both hitting me? Come on. Yeah, crossbow, not a great weapon. Oh, he's hitting me from over there. Did he? Damn, he came all the way back up here. Alright. Let us do... Where's this Zwei at? Alright. Yeah, so we barely gotten through, like, not even a quarter of this toxic bar yet. So you can see how long that effect lasts for. Nice, blue and purple moss clumps. Down here are the dogs. This is why we've equipped the alluring skulls. I don't actually know if they're gonna aggro right. They didn't, because I missed. Like a fool. Doesn't work on them. Fuck! I hate fighting these enemies. Let's see. Anything we can do. I don't know. I don't think that the crossbows can actually hit them from over here. Let's see. Ooh. Oh yeah, it's like barely on the edge of the lock-on range. Maybe if we go over here. Oh fuck. These guys make getting that Firekeeper soul a real hassle. There's got to be a better drop-off point though, because I don't want to drop off into the middle of all of them. But if I can get like down there, to the water wheel area, I think I can just take them one at a time. I think there might be one over here, though. Yeah, there is. Hey, I mean, you know, not gonna know until we try. Okay, we're in business. They didn't follow us yet. These red dogs breathe fire. For some reason, that's kind of unknown. I guess just a side effect of some sort of living in Blighttown, maybe? I don't know. But they're smaller, so they can be a little bit harder to hit than regular dogs, but they're just as fast and just as annoying, if not more annoying, because of the fire attack. I wonder if I can use a throwing knife to aggro this guy instead of aggroing them both. Nice. One down, and let's just leave this guy. Oh. Man, we're running out of Estus. So yeah, while this this toxic effect isn't as bad as the blow dart snipers, it still lasts a long time. And here's that next Firekeeper soul. Might as well take a look at that now. Soul of a long-lost Firekeeper. Each Firekeeper is a corporeal manifestation of her bonfire and a draw for the humanity which is offered to her. You know what? I think this is the second one that has the same text because it's one of the generic ones. But basically just lets us upgrade the Estus Flask potency. Get over here, buddy. Man, fuck these stupid dogs. 2 more left. I don't know where the other guy is. Ah, there you are. Come on, buddy. Man. Work with me here. Oh. Actually, I thought he'd reached the end of his aggro range, but I guess not. Well, we're out of Estus. So we're going to take this opportunity to knock out that toxic effect since we've already dealt with all the poison dart snipers. Fucker, I really don't want to... If I die to this dog, I'm going to be so sad. Nice, he's the one attacking you too. Ah, get out of here. Yeah, so... Second Firekeeper soul, gonna give us the +2 Estus Flask. Good going forward. Not really much else to say. And I think this is gonna be the end of what we're gonna do with Blighttown. I told you guys that I was gonna, I might go through the beginning part again, but I don't know. That's a pretty big level, and I might just do it after, because we have a little bit more to do in today's episode, and that would make it go a little bit too long. So we'll come back here later after I can just kind of show it at my leisure without really having to worry about the enemies too much. That's probably going to be when we're over-leveled. But I believe we'll have enough divine upgrade materials now because of those leeches to not have to worry about coming back here for a while. Only other thing we got to do is run all the way back to Firelink Shrine. And you can just run by these barbarians. It mostly depends on what type of attack they're going to use. If they use that jumping attack, it gives you plenty of time to run by. The one you got to watch out for is like the side-to-side swipe that they do kind of quick. But then you just throw a roll in there instead of just running all the way through, and that should be fine. I think we're actually going to examine the Valley of the Drakes later too, after the Four Kings, because it has an NPC corpse. So come out of that shortcut area, head back up here to the lift, and then we're going to ride this all the way back up. And there are going to be a couple things that are going to be different about Firelink Shrine when we get up here, because we've rung both Bells of Awakening. First is going to be Lautric's story has advanced. The next is going to be that there's a new NPC that we have to deal with, who you'll see very shortly. It's the NPC that I mentioned when we heard that snoring last video, Kingseeker Frampt, one of the primordial serpents, servant of Gwyn and the Lords. So Lautric is not here anymore, and Anastasia is no longer here. Instead we find this soul. She drops the Dingy Set and a black eye orb. Mystical orb found on a keeper's corpse. Invade the world of the murder of a firekeeper to defeat the perpetrator and reclaim the soul of the firekeeper. The black eye keeps constant watch on the city of the gods and Orlando. So that's kind of a gameplay hint to show you where to go next. Go to Anorlando through Sen's Fortress. And that is what we're going to be doing in the next video, for sure. But you'll see that because the firekeeper is dead, you can't light this bonfire, and that sucks. What you got for us, Crestfallen?
Did you ring the second bell? That is incredible, I must say. But now we have a new problem. It's noisy, it snores, and its breath is lethal. This is no laughing matter, I tell you.
He's talking about Kingseeker Frampt, who's awake now.
Damn, that stench. And I was really beginning to like it here. Maybe it's time I do something about it. Maybe.
Yeah, so I think this is actually the last, or one of the last times we see the Crestfallen Warrior. It's either after this dialogue or after the next dialogue that he's going to leave us and go down into New Londo and become Hollow. The next NPC we're going to talk to is Laurentius, and you can see Kingseeker Frampt over there.
Well, I see you made it out. Yeah, I made it out safely too. I have my Pyromancy of the Great Swamp, so I can usually manage with a bit of care. Oh yeah, by the way, I can share my spells with you. I think you have a knack for it. All you need are the materials. I'll be pleased to help you. Unless you find the magic's unsavory. Yeah, wonderful. I'm sure that, they'll be of some use, some assistance. Here, first take this. A
Pyromancy
flame
flame.
from the Great Swamp. Now you're a fully fledged pyromancer. Well, let's get started right now.
Alright, so we can purchase some pyromancies from Laurentius. We can also purchase upgrades for our pyromancy flame, and unlike other weapons in the game, pyromancy flame is upgraded just with souls, so that's kind of nice. And it doesn't actually have any sort of skill requirement to do, so you can use this on any character with basically the same degree of effectiveness. All you got to do is make sure you upgrade the pyromancy flame, because it scales based on that. Before I purchase anything, we'll talk to him.
Pyromancy is the art of casting fire. Produce flame, then channel it, just as our ancestors did. A pyromancer must be in tune with nature herself. My home, the Great Swamp, is an abundant store of nature. You will understand one day. It only takes time. Pyromancy has a, well, rather primitive aspect to it. It meshes poorly with advanced culture, and pyromancers are considered rather unsavory. Which is fine, as I never got along with anybody anyway. So, for me, turning undead didn't change a thing.
That's a really cool bit of dialogue from Laurentius. I told you last time that becoming undead affects, well, not last time, but in one of the previous videos, that becoming undead affects certain people more than it does others. Look, for Laurentius, it doesn't seem like it had much of an effect on him at all, because he was already a pyromancer who was looked down upon by the rest of society. So he already had that stigma associated with him, so becoming undead didn't really change that. Don't know if it made it worse or what, but we can assume that he lives as kind of a hermit or a recluse. We'll see another pyromancer if we can get that pyromancy flame fully ascended. That is another kind of hermit or recluse. And another thing to note is that Laurentius is the basic pyromancy tutor. There is another one in Blighttown that you can unlock, and she sells the more dangerous pyromancies, or more primitive ones. She's one of the witches of Izalith. But from him, I don't know if we'll buy Fire Orb, but we will buy Combustion and Fireball. Flash Sweat can be useful, so can Iron Flesh. Fire Orb deals more damage, but I don't think we're actually going to be needing that for damage for a little bit. Maybe if we go farm in the depths, we would need that. And we could speed things up, but not right now. We'll examine all of these, though. Pyromancy of Carmina, who harnessed the power of flame to actualize the inner self. Intense sweating reduces flame damage. Carmina, the most accomplished pupil of Salomon the Master Pyromancer, pioneered new directions for the art of pyromancy. So yeah, Carmina's pyromancies kind of reflect, I don't know, one of the aspects of fire, not straight fire, but like one of the ways that it can manifest itself. Because sweating, definitely not fire, not based in fire or directly fire, but it has some sort of connection to it. And Iron Flesh is another pyromancy of Carmina, and Iron Flesh boosts defense and resilience. Use of this pyromancy requires caution, as the caster becomes exceedingly heavy and unable to move freely. So yeah, when you cast that, it's kind of like you would be under the effects of Tranquil Walk of Peace. So you can't roll, you can only walk, but it increases your, I think, your physical damage resistance, and then it also makes some attacks reflect off of you and increases your poise by a great deal. So for some of the bosses in the game, where just dealing damage quick is faster than, or better than trying to dodge through attacks, Iron Flesh is going to be great. We might get some use out of that when we fight the Four Kings. And then Fire Orb. It's a pyromancy which improves upon Fireball. Hurl a Fire Orb. The flaming Fire Orb explodes upon impact, causing fire splash damage in a spectacle which seems to symbolize the strength of the fire-manipulating pyromancers. Cool pyromancy.
A pyromancer's flame is a part of his own body. The flame develops right along with his skill. When I gave you that flame, I gave you a part of myself. Please take good care of it. A pyromancer's flame. Please take.
So yeah, you'll see Laurentius, another one of those dudes. He just wants to see us safe. He obviously feels indebted in some way towards us for freeing him from the depths, which makes sense. He would be killed otherwise. But he could have just, given us one of those cursory gifts like Laurentius did, or Lautrec did. Given us a one-off thing and then been on his way. But he seems invested in wanting to teach us his art. It seems like we're like one of the first people that he's actually gotten along with, because we don't find his magic to be unsavory or uncultured. One of the better NPCs in the game, and I don't think we're going to be completing his story because I don't like seeing him die, so we'll leave it at that.
Goodbye then. Come back if you find anything new.
And the last NPC we got today is King Seeker Frampt.
Ah, hello. Was it you who rang the bell of awakening? I am the primordial serpent, King Seeker Frampt, close friend of the great Lord Gwyn, chosen undead, who has rung the bell of awakening. I wish to elucidate your fate. Do you seek such enlightenment?
Yeah, why not?
Very well. Then I am pleased to share. Chosen undead, your fate is to succeed the great Lord Gwyn, so that you may link the fire, cast away the dark, and undo the curse of the undead. To this end, you must visit Anor Londo and acquire the Lord Vessel.
So that is probably the second most overt piece of story that we've gotten. The first being ring both of the undead bells of awakening to do something, and in this piece of dialogue we learn that we are indeed the chosen undead, and that we're chosen to succeed Lord Gwyn. But what we'll see later in the game is that this isn't the case necessarily. There are two primordial serpents, at least two, probably more. There's King Seeker Frampt, and then there's Darkstalker Cave, and he is in New Londo. So these are two primordial serpents who both tell you a different version of that story. Frampt says that we're meant to link the fire, undo the curse of the undead, and succeed Lord Gwyn, whatever that means. And Darkstalker Cave says something different, and we'll examine his dialogue once we can get the Lord Vessel. But Frampt has a couple useful services.
I am pleased to see you well. Is it something urgent?
You can feed him items, like regular items here, and he'll turn them into souls, basically. We can also feed him shards and different chunks, and he can turn them into different upgrade materials. So he turns slabs into chunks, chunks into large shards, and I think large shards into regular shards. But I don't know if we need to use his services just yet. Maybe we'll feed him one green Titanite shard. And it becomes a regular Titanite shard. Cool. We're also going to feed him the Soul of Quolag because we don't have any use for it. It's one of the weapons, one of the souls that becomes two different weapons. You can either upgrade it plus 10 katana, such as the Uchi Katana or Washing Pole or Iaido, and it will become the Chaos Blade, or you can upgrade it using any other curved sword, so a falchion, a scimitar, etc., and it becomes Quelog's Fury Sword, which is the sword that she was wielding in the boss battle. But we don't need either of those. They're both dex weapons, so we're not going to get a whole bunch of use. And feeding that soul to Frampt is actually more useful than crushing it yourself. Crushing it yourself gives you 8,000, feeding it to Frampt gives 10,000. You can also feed him dung pies, which we don't have any actually, but those convert to 200 souls. And you can also buy dung pies from one of the undead merchants for 200 souls, so that kind of lets you bank souls at a 1-to-1 ratio. But that's, I mean, it can be kind of useful, I guess. But like if you have leftover souls or something after upgrading or leveling up, but we don't really need it. I'm not going to sell anything else to him right now, though.
Farewell, chosen undead. I remain here and await thee.
Yeah, so we'll be using his services as we go on and get more boss souls, because we're not going to actually be using very many of them, if any of them at all. I think... Yeah, I don't think we're actually going to be using any of them. Maybe Ornstein's, because I like the Dragon Slayer Spear. If we actually manage to kill Ornstein in the second phase. And we'll talk about all that when we get to him. This video is probably going to be coming to a close right over here. I'll upgrade the Zwei, rest this next bonfire, and then from there, we can start off on Sun's Fortress next time. I was considering doing Undead Asylum again, but I think I might wait until we have a Divine Weapon. Or at least until our Zwei's upgraded to around +10. Just because the Stray Demon, he's like the Asylum Demon with 1 extra attack, but I don't want to drag out that boss fight because I don't do enough damage, you know. Alright, head down to Andre. I don't know if he has anything else to tell us. We'll see.
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged?
What do you got for us today, Andre?
I know little.
Nothing. So modifying is for ascending once they've reached one of those breakpoints, either like +10, +15, etc., etc. So we'll go ahead and get this Y-hander. And because we reached up to +5, we need to ascend it into +6. And then we can keep upgrading again as normal, using large Titanite shards instead of regular Titanite shards. And that is as much as we can do right now, because we're out of large Titanite. But we got to +9, which gives a huge damage boost. Didn't increase the scaling any, but this thing's ridiculous now.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want...
Yeah, me either, Andre. We actually have the souls for it now, so I think I'm just going to buy the weapon and armor smith box and the repair box. This Crest of Artorias is for opening that gate. We'll see later in the Dark Root Garden. The only other weapons he sells are these: longsword, broadsword, bastard sword. Would I have to go in? Sorry about that. Mom came in. Longsword, broadsword, bastard sword, battle axe, war pick, the chestus, pike, large leather shield, tower kite shield, and the caduceus kite shield, or caduceus, however you want to pronounce that. Sells arrows and bolts, just like most of the other vendors. We actually are going to be needing to pick up a bow pretty soon because Sun's Fortress is kind of annoying if you don't have a ranged weapon to deal with some of the enemies as you go across the walkways. But we'll save that for next time. For now, we'll just level up. Give us some more of that. 3 levels only. That's actually enough for now. I was going to break some item souls we have, but that should be fine. Level 37 now. So it's kind of getting expensive to level up. So most of the time it's just going to be leveling up with their bosses, I think, because we don't really have a means of reliable farming yet. That's okay. Level 30, 37 should be fine for Sens. Especially with a +9 weapon. Especially with that being the Zwei-hander. We can probably kill those man-eaters. Man-eating serpents, we'll see in the next video in like one hit or something like that. So it should be a breeze. But until next time, thanks for watching. As always, thanks for supporting me. I really appreciate it. Even if you don't do anything other than watch these videos once and then forget about them, that is fine by me. But I will see you guys tomorrow.